NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte says the Western military alliance is reinforcing its defences following this week's Russian drone incursion. In the early hours of Wednesday, during an attack on Ukraine, 19 Russian drones flew over Poland, prompting a scramble by the Polish Air Force and NATO forces to shoot down the unmanned aircraft. Mark Rutte made his announcement alongside NATO's Supreme Commander Europe, US General Alexus Grynkewich.
NATO is launching Eastern Sentry to bolster our posture even further along our eastern flank. This military activity will commence in the coming days and will involve a range of assets from allies including Denmark, France, United Kingdom, Germany and others. In addition to more traditional military capabilities, this effort will also feature elements designed to address the particular challenges associated with the use of drones.
Well, our correspondent Teri Schultz was at that press conference at NATO headquarters in Brussels. Welcome, Teri. Can you fill in some of the details the Secretary-General left out there? How does NATO plan to reinforce its eastern flank?
Well, he did give several of the details there, basically as much as they gave us in the press conference. But to recap, what they're going to do is basically beef up what they're doing already with air policing and with some of the counter-drone technology that they have now. But obviously, they don't have enough. So you've seen allies rush to Poland's side and offer more fighter jets, more troops on the ground, more high-tech ways to stop drones from entering NATO airspace. And now NATO announced today that it was taking these all under what they're calling an enhanced vigilance activity and naming it Eastern Sentry. And basically that activity was timed to begin with the start of that press conference, so a few hours ago. And they basically needed to rally support in the face of this unprecedented size of this drone swarm that came into Polish airspace. But, you know, an enhanced air defense shield along the eastern flank is something those countries have been asking for years, and particularly, of course, since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine started. So that was something I got a chance to ask the two leaders there. You know, shouldn't this be something that was perhaps already in place? Let's hear what they had to say.
Do you feel at all that now you're having to play catch-up, that these are things that could have and should have been done earlier, and now it's simply been thrown into such sharp focus, and with the danger intensifying every day from Russia, you know, is this not too little, but a bit late?
I don't think we're playing catch-up. I think we were postured fairly well for that event. Now, having said that, we're always learning, and that's part of the reason that we're moving forward with this enhanced vigilance activity to bring additional capabilities together, given the scale of that incursion being something that we hadn't seen to this point. We had seen a few drones here and there, a smaller number, very well postured. If it had just been that, we would have gotten them all. But clearly, with the number that came across the border, it's time to take a fresh look at this, and we're always learning. NATO is a learning organization. Allied Command Operations is a learning command, and we're going to do everything we can as we learn those lessons to incorporate them rapidly and ensure we're defending every inch of the alliance.
So the Supreme Allied Commander certainly showed a bit of humility in his response there. But at the same time, everybody knows that this is something that has been called for years. And no, Poland really put the alliance on the spot and said, we need this now.
So what do you think, Teri? Is this a good enough response from NATO?
We'll only know that if we don't see drone swarms coming across the NATO border. You know, you really did see allies come forward very quickly, and the Poles were very gratified at the response they received. I mean, France announced almost immediately it would send 3 more fighter aircraft. The Germans have offered more backup. You've seen several countries say they'll put more troops on the ground. I mean, there really was a strong response from the allies, except for one. And we can't leave that out. We saw this cryptic response from President Trump that said, what is Russia doing in Polish airspace? Here we go. And he was given a chance a couple more times, asked by reporters, what do you think about this? And he has declined, even as recently as this morning on the Fox and Friends news show, to say anything critical of Russia other than President Putin shouldn't have been anywhere near the Polish airspace. He has not said anything beyond that. And as we discuss so often, Phil, without a strong U.S. backup for any NATO operation, it remains to be seen whether Russia's going to heed that deterrence or not. We'll just have to see.
Thanks, Teri. Teri Schultz in Brussels.